just an incredible influence.
I mean, even unto the most people would be like, I'm going to go change into my stage clothes to go on. Lemmy, you going to change? I'm in my stage clothes.
I remember going to see Motorhead, and he's out in the casino playing, You're going on in 10 minutes, hold on.
Exactly.
Take us up to modern day. What's Bob Kulick up to today?
Bob Kulick's been pretty busy lately.
I love the third person, by the way.
Well, I'm going to be appearing with Gene in Las Vegas when he does the opening for his CD, for the Vault thing. So he's going to have, a big celebration of that and a party for that. So I'm going to go down there like my brother did and Ace did in Los Angeles. So I'm going to do that. And happy that I have 4 songs on that record written back in the day. So that's a very exciting thing for me. Obviously, now that the Kiss Cruise is going to happen again this year, thank you. And you guys should thank yourselves, because I think the incredibly positive response that we received, that they know about, I think helped everybody realize that, this family is a great family. Kiss and the Kulicks, and to add Ace to the bill, I think is. What a great show that's going to be. Hopefully we'll get to, mix this up a little bit, and maybe we'll see if Ace can play with us or we can play with. We'll see what happens, but that's going to be great.
Let's face it, there's a lot of anticipation for Kiss Crusade, and I know the sale goes on. I think mine's the second week of February, so it's going to be here before you know it. That was one thing I was going to ask you. How much do you know? It sounds like you don't. It sounds like you know as much as we all do. You're up there, you're going to play. We don't know what's going to happen. I think it would be nothing short of magical if you could get Ace to play, and maybe, just a 3-way jam with you guys. I think it would be fantastic. And I know you're up for it. I know you're up for it.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So hopefully over the next few months, I'd like to do some more stuff with Paul like I did last year. And, obviously, maybe we'd get up with Ace's band, or he'd get up with us. We'll see what fate has in store, but I think that would be great for the fans, and we would totally enjoy it. So I think this opens up a lot of possibilities for what could happen. But in answer to your previous question, I'm still promoting my first record, Skeletons in the Closet, which, thank you very much, everybody bought today, and I should have bought more of them, Jesus.
Well, how fast they sold is just a testament, Bob, to, how much we love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was my first record ever. I played with everybody on the planet, and then finally it's like, okay, so finally now you're going to put out a solo record. My solo record with 23 guest artists.
You know what? What is your favorite session? I mean, that you did for somebody else. What one stands out? Because the one I love All American Man. That's just my personal. That solo is so sweet.
I don't think that it would be fair, nor could I live with seeing the video of me saying only one song. So I'll reference 3 songs.
Yeah, give me a few. That'd be awesome.
Working with Kiss in the studio with the legendary Eddie Kramer, who was the engineer for the Beatles and for Jimi Hendrix and for Led Zeppelin. He's who recorded my guitars on Kiss Alive 2 on Larger Than Life. And I think that was the last song that I played. And by that time, it had gotten to I'm really into this now. So that was one of the greatest sessions, the Larger Than Life session. Gene introducing me to Diana Ross, and being there when we did the solos on Why Do Fools Fall in Love and Mirror Mirror was magical. I'm pinching myself. So here's Gene Simmons standing here. Here's Diana Ross standing here. How are we doing? Everybody's happy. It's just, it was like all of a sudden, what are you doing today? I guess I'm playing with Diana Ross, I guess. That was a magical session because it all happened. The phone call, getting to the studio, same day. Did it all same day, done. And then I guess the third one that I'll mention that was to me a solo that you all mention to me all the time that I guess really was special was The Idol with Blackie Lawless, the W.A.S.P. Record that I did. That song, it gives me chills to hear that, just what I played on that. And I remember him saying to me, because he tried out a few guitar players on this, and I remember him saying to me, you are the perfect guy for this. Where you play in the pocket of this song kills me. And I wound up playing on a few of the other songs, but that song, And I think the reason people respond to that is because it was really heartfelt. When I hear it now, it's not like, I could have done better, I could have done something different. I accept it for what it is. So those 3 solos, I would say.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite. What sessions did you do that you're at you'll put it this way, have you ever done a session you got done, you're like, I could have done better? Anything stand out for you?
And it's always been the case that I always thought about certain things as a producer, that could have been a little better, or maybe I should have worked on these lyrics with the artist a little more, or whatever it was. But, the bad sessions that I had that didn't work out, I buried them so deep in my mind. And it was never anybody that was famous in the way that we're talking about now. So there were some sessions where I was like, I really feel that the wrong guitar player for what you're looking for from what you're telling me, so maybe we should stop. That happened a few times. As with any job, there were times where it just didn't work. But there was nothing that I ever felt like, when I hear it, I cringe. I always feel like that was you expressing yourself at that time, and maybe you'd express yourself differently now, but that's no reason to think that was bad.
As a guitar player, yourself obviously, what era do you think is where the best players come out? Because you have to be impressed by the super speedy guys now, but go back. When do you think, because I always have this thing, I love the tone of so many of the 70s guys, and I think tone is something that doesn't get enough respect these days. Because back in the day, you could have had Blackmore just hit an A chord and you knew it was Blackmore. You know what I mean? Eric Clapton did an A, you just knew it was Clapton. What do you think that's missing now in modern music? Or as a guitar player, get a little geeky here, who do you think has the best tone now? Who's somebody that you hear and you're like, cracks you in the ribs and you love it?
Well, if you want to be specific about this, which you are being, Mark, thank you, and for those guitar players in there or people who are savvy in this area, stylistically speaking, the guitar players of my generation, those who I copied, those who I saw in person play, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, George Harrison, Jimmy Page. To me and my brother and to Paul and everybody like that, these were our gods. We would go to the shows and see these people play. We were like drooling. I stood at the front of the stage and Jeff Beck sweated on me. He was playing right above me. To see that and to feel that, the first time Led Zeppelin played New York. Paul was there, I was there, we were all there. A whole lot of love for them to dish that out. We were on the floor. How else could you react? Eric Clapton, to see the first Cream concerts. It was an out-of-body experience to see somebody who looked like nobody else on the planet, wearing little fringes, fringe pants, fringe jacket, with that special guitar, the painted guitar that was Todd Rundgren's and George Harrison's, and then to see that vision, his tone, to be specific now, those Marshall amps in the day did not have a preamp stage for distortion. So the tonality was created by the guitar and the pickups. They used to crank those amps up flat out. So it was loud, loud, loud. And that's where all the sustain and what we all thought was distortion came from really wasn't distortion, it was just volume. As things changed when Eddie Van Halen, as I was saying earlier, and Randy Rhoads, those nuances, there were preamp Marshalls. And so the sound was able to be doctored and distorted. Less the sound of the person's fingers and guitar, and more the sound of the amp making a new texture for it, a distorted texture, something that we all then became like, oh wow, that's what they all sound like. The nuance was getting lost though a little bit. So that now, when you talk about tonality, there are tons of amazing guitar players. I had the pleasure of working with Tom Morello a couple of years ago on the Randy Rhoads tribute that I did. Now, here's a guy who, he plays guitar, but what comes out of the amp is like he's got pedals and stuff going so that it's like there's a percussion session playing in the middle of him playing his solo, and that's part of what he does. All of the sound effects and all of that. here's somebody who basically, like I said to him, I said, you know, you're playing on this Randy Rhoads record is so incredible. He was like, well, why do you think that's so? And I'm like, because nobody else would play that or could play that. So I gravitate towards guitar players whose personality is that. Nobody else could play that. Nobody else would do that. Like I said to Steve Vai when I played with Steve at Lemmy's birthday party, I'm no longer jealous of you, Steve. Why, Bob? Because I could never even think of the stuff you play, let alone be jealous of playing it.
That's awesome. While we're on super geeky guitar stuff, tell us about your rig. What are you playing out of? What effects do you like to use? You go back to any certain guitars? Were you like a big Les Paul guy or Strats?
Back in the day, I was a Les Paul guy, and you know, but had some Strats as well. You know, I kind of went through that Les Paul Strat thing, which Jeff Beck did. He played a Strat, he played a Les Paul. He had both in his repertoire, so that worked really great. Now I am a happy E.S.P. endorser. The guitars that I play on a cruise and all the other stuff somebody have seen recently of me doing some live shows would be the ESPs, the Vipers, the Eclipses. Excellent guitars. I like the old classics. I'm an idiot because I sold all my old guitars. Like Paul at one point, he had a bunch of old guitars and he's like, I'm just going to get rid of them. And we didn't think anything of it at the time, and now we're kicking each other, you know, like, Jesus, why did you sell that Flying V? Like, you sold your Les Paul. You know, so, but here's the deal. I could always buy another one if I wanted to.
That's awesome. Hey, a question I have, and I think this would be cool, and I think a lot of you guys here would appreciate this too. Is there any chance, now that you guys know, next November you're going to be sailing, that you guys may do a little tour prior, maybe, hitting some of the bigger cities, doing some clubs prior, because let's face it, you only get 3,000 people on the boat. There's way more than 3,000 people that want to see you and your brother.
Except for the 100,000 people that saw the video.
So, that's my point. I mean, and I know you guys would all want to see that too. What is the chance? And if you scream loud, maybe they'll do it.
You want to see us play?
What is the chance of once you guys start rehearsing, we start hitting Atlanta and Cleveland and Detroit and Chicago?
I'll tell you what, I'll show Bruce this part of the video, but you need to cheer louder now. So do you want to see Bruce and I play?
Yeah! I think that is a resounding yes, and let me tell you, I think that's really doable, man. You guys could do just backline, you know what that is. Backline is when you already have your stuff there, you just show up. Backline, that's kind of why I was asking about the equipment too. I want to see what you were going to say. You guys could get a backline tour.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you Bruce's phone number. We'll take out your phones. No, Bruce and I would love to do this. It's a scheduling issue. We would like, obviously, to have Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz, who are amazing human beings, amazing artists, incredible musicians, and also, like every one of you, huge Kiss fans. And that's how that worked, was that Bruce and I were able to play with two people who are no less than us, who felt no less than we did about it, go out there and hit a home run for these fans. I love those guys, and I know everybody would like to do this. I'm hoping that putting it out there will make it happen, because I believe sometimes that that's the way things do happen. Put it out there and make it so. I need your help, but I think we can make that happen.
Guys, get out there, support all the KISS pages and fan sites and podcasts, and let everybody know that you want to see the Kulick brothers in your town, because everybody here is from all around the country, man.
All around the world. Thank you so much for coming.
Let's get that vibe going, guys. We got to wrap it up right now. Mr. Bob Kulick, thank you.